Hey, good evening, Brother Washington Muhammad. He, him. This is the weekly CSRN video minutes and podcast. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network. I'm one of the co-founders, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay. And also, before we get started, Jody, I want to give a shout out to Stephen Vines. It was his birthday this week, and the Vines family is a very creative and artistic family in Toledo, and Stephen was also one of the people that was behind the scenes forming this idea that we can mobilize and be active in our community and speak truth to power without being a part of politics or religion. And I want to thank Steve. If you're listening, I want to thank you for being a part of those conversations, challenge the boundaries of our thinking, and that's why we're here today. So thanks, Stephen. What I have on today, I've got on a gray V-neck. I've got a pink shirt underneath. I've got a gray hat. Got a haircut today, Jody. All right. I told him to cut it all off because it's balding anyway. I've got on my new glasses. I don't know if you saw. I've got new glasses today. They are kind of bluish gray, and I got them from Optigo by Twix in Between. And if you see Kristen Moncrief, she is an ABO certified, Ohio licensed optician, all right? And she's mobile, and she's on Facebook. I don't know if I get paid for that. Say that, all right? But anyway, see our sister. She's out here. I think she opened up for Mayor Wade today for the state of the city.
Yes, she did.
So she's doing big things. Good luck, Christian. And hey, that's me. I'm going to have Jody introduce himself, and we'll get started with our mission statement and our guiding principles.
All right, everybody. What's up? My name is Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization, plus a whole bunch of other things. I am a cinnamon tone, brown skinned bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and jewels and all kinds of stuff. I am wearing clothing representative of my local community. The hat is from Filthy Feathers. The shirt that I'm wearing is from one of our zombie crawls here at the Village on Adams, one of our exclusive things that hopefully we'll be bringing back this year. Again, stuff on me comes from local vendors and stuff like that. And my pronouns are him, he, and we. Y'all just to know me a little bit better. And this is our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of civil disobedience, protest, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed, class, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. And injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, thank you, Jody. And for everybody that's watching, um, if you can say what's up in the chat, we always like to see those who are watching. We thank you for spending your time with us as we talk about issues that are going on within the Black community and beyond. What we've done in the past, what we're doing now, and some of the things that's coming up, some of them this week. You might see someone with us. That's Tanika Fields. We're going to bring her in a few minutes. So just wanted you to know that, hey, listen, we haven't replaced Ruth, all right? I know you were thinking that when she popped in, all right? So what I'm going to read now are our guiding principles. Within all Black organizations, we should have, or we should strongly consider some boundaries so that we can operate together, not hurt one another, and not misuse one another. And at CSRN, we adopted the guiding principles from the movement for Black Lives in 2015 and made some adjustments that fit Toledo. And these are our guiding principles. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
Most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children's lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe?
Ashe.
All right. Those are our guiding principles. Before we bring up our sister, Anika Fields, what we're going to talk about is what's happening tomorrow. if I'm not mistaken, maybe where's my cheat sheet at? If I'm not mistaken, in 2018 or 2019, we met this beautiful family in Swanton. Beautiful family. However, she didn't have the type of neighbors that were kind. She didn't have the type of neighbors that wanted to be human. And we showed up. Some other members of the community showed up. We had a prayer circle there, inviting God to change the energy of this neighborhood. And the only thing that it did that day was it made the hostile neighbors call the police on a prayer circle. All right. Who does that? Anika Fields' neighbors. So we persisted with with trying to be involved in reaching out to law enforcement to no avail. We linked up with the New Order Human Rights Organization, and they kind of put some gas to the situation, meaning speeding up the process. All right. And I want Anika to come on right now and talk about the racial harassment, to talk about the just this whole process, the court proceeding that's happening tomorrow, as well as the press conference. Anika, if you could come on in and tell everybody why we're here and why it's important for them to know what's happening not only in Toledo, but just a few short miles from here in Swanton. Anika?
Thank you so much, Brother Washington. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you for having me. I appreciate your kind words. Again, my name is Anika Fields. My gender pronouns are she, her. I am a beautiful chocolate queen, and I am wearing a coral sweater, gray slacks, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I come to you today being involved with community solidarity response work, and also, as Brother Washington mentioned, also being involved with New Order National Human Rights Organization to share with you our story and also help you guys understand why it's important and what it means to you. So my family and I have 4 adult daughters, one 7-year-old little boy, and we relocated from Perrysburg to Swanton around 2015. Maybe around 2016 or so, we started noticing some different behaviors. We noticed our Caucasian neighbors were, patrolling, constantly watching, and they began to become more bolder in terms of asking questions, demanding responses, which is what I called explanation entitlement. And when we politely, didn't offer our information, they became really combative. Over the years, they have gotten more and more emboldened, and it became all out racial harassment and microaggressions that we would experience daily. So things such as frequently call the police on myself and my young son for riding the bike on the side, which most people will know, there's a law against riding a bike on a sidewalk, especially with a young child, something very appropriate. But, they began using these systems to attack us. And we didn't get very much support when the police were called out, because the police, instead of supporting our rights to walk down the street in our neighborhood, ride a bike in our neighborhood, the police would, make little comments like, we'll go the other way. Not very helpful things at all for the most part. And it also got to a point where they would physically impede access to the public sidewalks. So, when we would be riding our bikes, they would reverse their vehicles to block the sidewalk to where we'd have to come to very abrupt stops, for our safety. And they even went as far as, having a number of neighbors, all white, come to our house one particular time, physically threatening us, using racial epithets, and telling us we needed to go in the house when it was myself and my daughter sitting on our porch. And I remember this, we were discussing what she wanted me to cook for her, and they felt that they had the right to patrol and control our Black bodies. And when we resisted, they became, more and more desperate, turning into all out Karens. They weren't getting the response they wanted from police in terms of causing me harm. So they started, making up things such as random things, such as I broke into a car, we broke into her car when we were 45 minutes to an hour away, just random ridiculousness. And the interesting thing is, this neighborhood, Swanton is approximately a little bit over 97% Caucasian. And in this particular subdivision, it's predominantly white, and there's a high concentration of poverty amongst some of the folks that live here. And if for whatever reason, they just felt that they were entitled to patrol and control our Black bodies. It got to a point after the one altercation where they solicited other acolytes and people to come in and yell racial epithets, make threats, and so on and so forth, that I actually had to seek help from the Fulton County Court, because it was clear at that point that, talking to several officers and talking to the chief, that they were not going to help protect us as per their duty. In fact, the chief, Adam Berg, when I said, what more can I do? I'm at my home, I'm in my yard, we walk down the street, we ignore them, we don't say anything to them. He responded by telling me, quote, move. So this was a problem. And I sought help from the Fulton County Police Court in Wassian, Ohio, asking for a civil anti-stalking protection order. I was granted that protection order to protect myself and my family, but in an interesting change of events, when these neighbors were served, they went to a victims assistance program, were able to get a free attorney, and they filed a motion alleging that my home security system was recording conversations outside of their home. So this is just an illustration to show you how absolutely desperate that they are, and how this not only their intolerance, but how systemically trying to report these things, trying to get help, and trying to do the right things by not engaging. It just shows a systemic issue that, it wasn't just the neighbors, it wasn't just the officers, it wasn't just the chief, it was the court system as well. Because, the court system felt that they needed to tell me to remove my home security system because they felt comfortable with white neighbors who had been harassing me after I had already had a protection order in place. So fast forward, after a lot of advocacy with CSRN and New Order. And, a lot of folks I went to church with I attend church with at Cedar Creek, and some friends and some family members, finally in October of 20. Now, just to go back, this started back in 2016, but finally in October of 2020, criminal charges were finally filed against one of these neighbors that had been coming over to our house and harassing us. And this is a male. So tomorrow, the trial is scheduled for Swanton Court Eastern District, which is located at if I'm not mistaken, 204 Main Street in Swanton here. And we will be holding a press conference at 10 a.m. in the morning just to talk about, these egregious acts, what we expect, because we want justice. And the point of all this is, in terms of accountability, nothing is going to change, rather, until these folks are held accountable. they have to be shown that they do not have the right to patrol and control Black bodies. It's not their job. We need to tell Karen to take a seat. We need to tell, her counterpart to take a seat, because these particular neighbors, and it's not all of them, but these particular neighbors are really strong in the approach when it comes to white solidarity. They pick these issues, and then when you ignore them or they don't respond, they gather other Caucasian neighbors to come and sit and taunt and harass and do the same. Many of them, which I hadn't had any interactions with, no issues, no interactions, no problem. But that's how they do, and even when they know it's not true, white solidarity is a thing. And in order for this to stop, they have to be held accountable. The reason why this is important for me to share my story and my experience is because this is a human rights issue. And this might be going on in Swanton, but we have to keep in mind, it involves all of us. Because if we're allowing out here in Swanton people to dictate where we as Black and brown people can live, where we can walk, where we can eat, what we can do, if we're allowing them to get away with trying to regulate our activities and just peace in our daily lives, it can happen anywhere. Also, to talk a little bit about the way this community works here, logistics in the community. There are only a few African American people that stay in the area, and Swanton has a history of not responding to these racial issues, not documenting them, not responding to them. And what happens is they just give up and they end up moving. The problem is with that, and where I come into play is I am choosing to stand up for not only myself, but my family and my community. I have the right to choose where I live. And if there is affordable housing that meets the needs I have for my family or accommodation, nobody, especially the police, should allow anyone to run African American people or Black and brown bodies out of the area, because ultimately they're not comfortable, or their fears, or that you don't submit to them. Because I think a lot of it is submitting to them. But that, in a nutshell, that's kind of what's going on, and that's why it's important to you guys. And I'm just really grateful for CSRN. Brother Washington, Jody, Ruth, Julian all came at a time where it's psychologically distressing, emotionally distressing. They came in at a time where I was under a lot of stress, and my family was under a lot of stress. Racial microaggressions, racism, discrimination, they have physiological impacts on the body. And I was just came in. So I'm really grateful that they were able to come in. And later on down the line, New Order Human Rights was able to come in. And we tried to meet with a couple mayors. We tried to meet with the police chief. And I think my world just fell down. But okay. My picture in the back, it just fell down. But yeah, okay. It's important to bring this to the attention. And also, it's important to mention, and I'll wrap up here, it's very difficult to bring about if it's one voice. But when we band together and use all of our voices, we have the power to do a lot more unity. So we are calling for the resignation, and we have called for the resignation of this police chief at first, because he must process charges, and he insists, despite hearing for himself and having it confirmed, white neighbors yelled the N-word at me, racial epithets, and also physically threatened me. And he insists, up until last week, he insists that it's not an issue of race. So we need to put someone in the position that is going to fairly look at these things so that they can file the appropriate charges. And we need multiple voices to do that.
All right, thank you, Anika. If you hear any young people in the background, it's because CSRN love the kids. So
yeah.
I also wanted to say that tomorrow, Swanton's gonna have a special guest. the CEO and founder of New Order Human Rights Organization, our brother Gerald Rose, is coming to Swanton. He also is going to speak at the press conference. If you don't know, Gerald comes from good stock. His father is Reverend Floyd Rose, who
Right.
is a leader emeritus when it comes to the rights of Black people and the oppressed. So I'm looking forward to being there. 10 o'clock tomorrow. I'll probably come a little bit early and stop by the house and talk with Gerald about what we're going to say, how much pressure we're going to put on them, which is a lot. And I also wanted to say that when when this started, we also had some regular patrols. Myself and a
Yeah.
few others from the local churches, we would patrol the area. I still do that today. And if you're interested in being a part of the deterrent, assisting us with patrolling, get at us in the chat. We'll meet up with you and tell you the do's and don'ts of what we're doing. And all we're doing is looking out for our sisters because there's a lot of Anikas that are out here that
Absolutely.
need our assistance. And I'm so glad, Anika, that you didn't quit. I'm so glad that you continue to lift your voice and also not only lifting your voice, you also reached out to the community and held a workshop on microaggression that so many people are feeling it, but we don't know what to call it at work. We don't know what that if that comment was meant for us, or if we were, or if they forgot to invite me into the staff meeting. These things are taking place, but it's good to know what they are, know
Yeah.
how to address them, so that you can relieve yourself of some of that stress that we feel
Right.
from that. So thank you, Anika. Hold on. I'm gonna call in the back, Jody, and see if Ruth is in the back room or something. Maybe she can come out. If she can't come out, what I want to talk about now, Jody, if we could
First
go.
break going.
Well, I don't think Ruth is here to take us to commercial. You
Can
know,
I
Ruth. Go ahead.
can I can I just offer one more thing before I transition here? Um,
Sure.
one of the things I do want to mention, and thank you so much for the neighborhood patrol and bringing that thought up, but it's important for me to be clear that not only for my sisters and brothers with CSRN, my church, family, and friends here, but when people in Swanton actually found out what was going on in this neighborhood, there were a lot of people from Swanton who actually reached out to me as well. So that's pretty awesome. There are people here. We have allies here, and if we don't use our voices to speak about this, we would never know. They would never know. And we do need our allies. We need everybody to stand up and make a stand that this is not acceptable and won't be
Thank you so much, Anika. Jody, I see that Patty's in the chat. I
Yeah,
thought
we
I
have
saw
quite a few people
who
in the
else was
chat
in
right
there?
now. So Leslie, let me give a shout out to everybody. Rotate this camera. Because again, if you're watching, I know I've been questioned sometimes, but this is what I'm doing on my phone. I'm spreading out to groups and organizations. I am the sharing person. So I'm also trying to respond to as many people in chat while we are live, because this isn't just a taped live audience thing. This is just us coming to you. That's why
That's
you have
right.
kids in the back and stuff like that. But shout out to Petronella, Patty. Who else is in the chat? We got Julian in the chat, Tiffany, a few people. Adisha's in the chat. We have Gerald. He came in the chat. He's in there.
All right.
Shout out to you. We got a few other people in the chat. Some haven't spoken yet. I know we got a few viewers online and everything. But shout out to everybody making comments, sharing the post, liking the post. It is really how we came from what almost 7 years ago
Seven
now
years. Seven
to
years ago.
the organization now that you see us where we throw awards and scholarships and everything like that. So I think that's a good segue into number 4, which we're about to do.
Right. Is what's happening now is our planning for the Black Lives Matter Awards 2021 only this time, Jody, is virtual.
Yeah,
Um,
Zoom boxes.
I know, I know. Hey, look, this is the era of Zoom.
Yeah.
All right, everything that we do pre-COVID, we can't do it post-COVID. At least not yet. So, if you don't mind, why are we having a Black Lives Matter award, and why do you think that's important?
Um, well, I think I'll go back to the very first one because our very first one was done after we had done a Black Lives Matter Day. And as with organizations and stuff like that that get grants and funding, we decided that, I mean, we don't need grants, we don't need funding, we just need our community. And we saw the success of Black Lives Matter Day, and we wanted to continue that through other things. I mean, everybody else have an award. You have the BET, you have the Oscars, Emmys, but none of them actually look back at the excellence in their community. They always go to who's the shiningest star, most trendy, popular person so they can get their funds and their revenue in, but not really care about the people after the show is after. So we decided to do something that was us, our community, our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, who not only were given awards, but were part of them. The first one we did, we actually found an art dealer that had African masks made out of wood from Ghana. So as a way to give back to our community, also back when we did the show in person, we cooked for everybody. We had other vendors show up, so that way it's a continuous circle, not just the dollar stops at the next thing you purchase.
Right. Now, I want to say our second Black Lives Matter award, we kind of stepped it up a bit. If Barbie is out there, Barbie assisted us in helping us get the leaders of the Women's March. That was Linda Sansor, Tamika Mallory, and Bob Bland.
Yeah.
And we brought them to Toledo, and particularly Bob Bland, to speak on why Black Lives Matter and why we should continue to struggle and fight for justice, fight for freedom, and fight for equality. And that is maybe one of the first that I've seen, and I've been around a long time. Um, it's the first time that we've given a key to the city, and we're not city officials. Yeah. All right. So we gave a key to the city to Bob Bland, a key to the city to Tamika Mallory, and we lifted up a lot of people in our community that go under the radar because they're not looking for applause, they're not looking for attention. And also one of the things that we did, we still had a huge dinner. Jody is our resident chef. He's our resident author, our resident treasurer, our resident, and it was very, very successful. So here we are in 2021.
Yeah, and because a lot of people don't know, one of Ruth's first initiatives, because that's where we always kind of say this is like our third, but it's really our fourth. Because when she came on board to the team as an educator, she was like, well, we've done awards, we've done movie theaters and press conferences from state to local to federal. What about the kids? So technically our second Black Lives Matter awards was a scholarship we did for kids.
Right, and that was the Black Lives Matter scholarship. And what we wanted to do, what Ruth wanted to do, and she made us, all right? I just want to be transparent, just in case, Ruth is lurking in the back. But what Ruth wanted to do, and we doubled down, all right? And we followed her lead. She realized that college students and students that are in college don't have it made. All right. And that's a misconception that once your child is off to college, they have it made. Well, I've had two children that were in college and they don't have it made. All right. Definitely not my pockets. So one of the things that we did, we asked them to write an essay on what does Black Lives Matter mean to them, or what does the Black Lives Matter movement mean to them. And not only high schoolers wrote essays, also some of the students at UT, Owens, Bowling Green wrote essays. First prize was $1,000.
Yep.
That's a lot of money. All right. Second prize was 500. Third prize was 300. Now that's a lot of money. Where does the money come from? The money comes from me shaking people down. All right. All right. That's right. That's where it comes from, because we have a lot of people my age that want to assist, want to help, but they may not want to be at a protest. They may not want to be at an uprising or a press conference, but there's other ways that they could assist. So big shout out to everybody that's assisted us along the way. And particularly, I want to give a shout out to Donnie Miller, because I was supposed to send her a thank you letter. All right. That hasn't got there yet, Donnie, but everybody sees me saying it today.
But she did get one of the plaques.
All right,
from the awards, because that's something we did with our the third awards. Was
right.
We had centerpieces that I created that were given to all award recipients and participants. So even if you were just there at a table, you got something to represent that day, which was done on black slate.
And we had Rashida G.
Yeah.
Was the mistress of ceremonies, or the MC, the hostess, and she did an excellent job. That was our third one. So here we are with the fourth Black Lives Matter Awards virtual. This is going to be streaming this Sunday at 7 p.m. Right now, Ruth is working on, she does everything, all right? I'm sorry, family. Most time we just show up, all right, and we get the paper that she said, say this and say that, and then give it to Jody. We show up. Thank you, Ruth. Ruth is right now putting together our event page. We're going to be notifying local media that they can come and interview myself, Jody, or whomever about why the Black Lives Matter Awards is important. Who are some of the nominees? Who are some of the awardees? We put out a on our website where people can nominate, and we got a ton of names. And then some people have more nominations than others. That let us know who the top 15 are. Soon and later on in 2021, we may roll out some of our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
These are the people that got 13 and a half nominations, all right? And the lowest person got 16. So that doesn't mean that they're not putting the work in, but they are putting it in. So hopefully later on in 2021, maybe close to Juneteenth, we'll be able to come out with our honorees. With the honorable mentions, who's still putting the work in right now. But Black Lives Matter Awards streaming live on Sunday, 7 p.m. Ruth is putting together our event page right now, and hopefully you'll get the notification. Please share, because Facebook will not allow us to share anything with the words Black Lives Matter. All right, they won't allow us to pay to boost it. All right, they won't allow, or they won't put it into the algorithm so only one person sees it.
Right.
Facebook be on that stuff. Well, I said,
yeah, I know, with all the new copyrights and stuff, as people are learning how to do their podcasts, DJs are finding ways to survive, since that's the livelihood of a DJ. But I think we're all adjusting, as best we can. Want to know, is Ruth back there with maybe a commercial break? And if not, we can segue on to talking a little bit more about the box.
Well, matter of fact, I got one right here. This is the box that we're going to be delivering to all of our awardees. If you can look, I want a big shout out to Abby B, for designing all of our graphics and our new CSRN logo. You see the CSRN with the 3 fists right there, because you know what it is when we come through with the All Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. So thank you, Abby, for putting that together. We're going to be delivering these very soon. They're going to be filled with items from local vendors. And we can't take some time right now to talk about some of the vendors and what people. Let me see.
Yeah, see if you can open that up. Now, again, we went over
All
what
right,
we
well,
did each year.
well, there's nothing in here, Johnny. Oh, hold on.
That's the good
What?
thing, though.
Okay, all
So,
right.
as we went over how each year we've done our award ceremony, we expanded to include more and more of our community. Because this year we're not having a big ceremony at some place, so there's no huge table and grab bag that you can get from. But me, myself, I am building my own dream box. So that kind of idea inspired what we're doing with this box. As you saw, it was empty. Now, when the award recipients get them, they may need some weightlifting to get done because we've tried to stuff this box with as many local entrepreneurs as we can. We sent a message out, I believe it was last week, and then we already had some people contact us. So their items, their products, their artwork, their creations will be completely filling this box to the brim. I'm going to shout out a couple of people that are in here because we still have items. I'll probably be receiving items. I am the contact, so you can look me up and all that stuff. I'll be receiving items until Thursday. So Thursday is the cutoff if you want to add anything else to the box. The box is 9 inches by 12 inches. So some of the people that will be in the box are Deflame Candles, Sharon Jackson. She's over at the Swainfield Plaza inside of the Colors Art Gallery, who's also going to be in the box. Nicola, she's adding some artwork of hers in there. Sonia from Sonia Organics, she has some stuff in the box. We have some items in there from Intuit Fitness at Tacoma.
This is Intune Fitness.
Intune Fitness.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna bring cards up, but
okay, yeah.
Alexi, since you wanted to interrupt, you can pronounce the name.
Tanika Camilla.
There we go.
All right.
We got cheat sheets all over.
That's right.
But of course, me as one of the contributors to Everything is Possible, I'll be adding in the Lost Storyteller, some stickers, some artwork that you can find on our page, CSRN, if you want to contribute and stuff. But we have specific pieces out of my collection, Ink Truth, that will be going in these boxes. Just a way for us to show our appreciation for everybody involved. Shout out to Alfia, who does custom treats. I believe that's what it is, custom treats. She's also in the Colors Art Gallery at the Swainfield Plaza. So if you want to go there, check her out. She's kind of sold out of some stuff right now because we just
we bought her out. We went in there and we said, look, we want it all.
Yep. And I think when people do get this box, that is our way. It's not just what you see trending online about buy black and buy local and stuff. You actually have to put in the work. So we make sure that the dollars that we get go to many initiatives like the billboard, bailing out people, helping grassroots organizations build up their coffers, and of course stuff like this. So when we say we're going to buy black, we're coming for you. We're going to do a black buyout and make sure that you are represented and loved by your community, because it's not just your items going in the box and we're saying, ooh, look what we did. No, your card, your business information. So if they would like to shop with you afterwards, they're more than welcome to find these lovely items.
Now, I also want to say about our virtual box. Where is it? This year we're gonna have something even. It just gets better and better. We're gonna have Sage. All right, CSRN is gonna have Sage because we know 2020 we called it bad. Yeah. All right, we called it bad, and now it's 2021. And what does that mean?
Hey, it's old enough to drink now. So we also got some crystals in there too for you. Yeah.
All right.
And one last thing, we also want to shout out back in June, wonderful organization called Gathered Glass in downtown Toledo decided to make Glass Fist. They made this in honor of all the movements and initiatives going around, and that is going to be one of the items inside the box. So you will have your own personal glass fist to celebrate with.
All right, so how are we going to close?
It might be a little hard to close, so you might have a bulge on top of the box, but just know that that's the love from your community and your surrounding people and appreciation for you winning the award as well.
Hey, listen, I want to say a couple of things because we may just end up wrapping up with the Black Lives Matter awards because that's what we want everyone to be focused on. A couple of things I want to mention, and I'm glad that we kind of rolled this whole thing out today. All right,
we're still going.
Yeah, Ruth who? Ruth who? What did you say? Ruth who?
I'm sorry, what?
See, I told you. As always, Ruth. You know I ride or die. I'm Team Ruth all the way. All right. I wanted to add this on, and then I want to bring in Ruth because I think she may want to talk about some of the nominees.
Yep. Or she may want to go to a commercial break, so she has her own little segment.
Oh, okay. Oh, we give her a segment now? Oh, we do that now. Look, Ruth, never ever leave us alone again.
Obviously.
All right. This is what happens. And family, it's beautiful that we can fight for truth. We can speak truth to power. We don't have to bite our words, but also we engage in self-care. This allows us to be okay the next day. And I wanted to mention before Ruth decides if we're going to go to break or not, that we're also going to have some custom-made virtual Black Lives Matter T-shirts by our brother Maurice Wormley, who has Just Another Shirt Company. All right, and he's making our shirts. So Maurice, if you hear this, hey, you already know what it is, bro. But I wanted to add that in there, and we're gonna have a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah,
a lot of great stuff in here. Ruth, I know we didn't say enough about the Black Lives Matter awards. Was there anything that you wanted to add before we break?
Nothing that I can think of. I think after the break we can go through another group of awardees. I think last time we did 5, and then we added another 3. Or no, we did 2 of the ones that we have pictures for. So I think this time we'll give another 5 names, but no pictures.
Okay, let's do it.
All righty. So right after the break.
All right. Stay tuned. CSRN Video Minutes, our podcast. Come right back.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. We're back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes. This is our weekly podcast that we talk about issues that and things that we've done in the past week. Some of the things that we're doing right now, which is talking about the Black Lives Matter Awards and some of the things that's coming up, and particularly the press conference in Swanton that's happening tomorrow. And we bringing in heat. Yes, we're talking about some good feels right now, but tomorrow we're going to be on something else. You already know what it is. So, Ruth, back to the Black Lives Matter Award.
That twisted tea.
All right, yeah, might bring out. That's right, might bring out that twisted tea.
Oh my gosh! All righty, guys. So my name is.
You ain't black if you don't know what that means. All right, that's my Joe Biden moment. All right, that's right. All right, I'm good. I'm good, Ruth. I'm good.
Okay, so my name is Ruth Leonard. I am the administrative lead for the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo. I am a dark brown complected woman. I am wearing a crystal on my neck, as well as a t-shirt, black t-shirt with white writing that says "Teach Children Social Justice," because they need to know it. I am so excited for our Black Lives Matter Awards this year. We are doing this 100% virtual. The only people who will be in attendance are going to be myself, Brother Washington, and Jody. I think everyone else is going to be able to witness the amazing beauty, style, and grace of the BLM Virtual Awards from their homes. So we went through some of the names that we wanted to celebrate this year for the BLM Awards, and I'm going to give you a few more names. So we have Petronella Holmes, C.D. Dotson Chambers, Brittany Jones, Dr. Hope Bland, and Pastor Perry Harris III. And these are all individuals from our community, from Toledo, who represent for the Black Lives Matter movement in their day-to-day. So when they show up for work, they know that at the end of the day, they do the work so that they can continue to wave the flag of Black Lives Matter. I've been so thankful and so blessed to be able to interview all of these individuals and just talk with them about what the movement means to them. How did they get involved in their particular fields? How do they find their passions, their songs, their favorite songs? Also, quiet as it's kept, you should also be on the lookout for the official virtual Black Lives Matter Awards playlist. Okay, so what we're doing this year, and this is a surprise to Brother Washington and to Jody because I just came up with it.
We don't want to stop you, Ruth. You're kind of breaking up, though.
Oh, no. Either way, I don't know what to do. But we have a Black Lives Matter playlist that's going to come out with our Black Lives Matter virtual awards. And you guys still can't hear me?
We can hear you now. It was just there for a couple of minutes when you were talking about some of the awardees and the conversations that you had with them.
So everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read the names again and I'll save everything else for later. The names of the awardees or additional awardees are Petronella Holmes, C.D. Dotson Chambers, Brittany Jones, Dr. Hope Bland, and Pastor Perry Harris Jr. I'm sorry, Perry Harris III. Did you get that? Okay, you guys talk.
Okay, all right, the internet always wins. I wonder if she froze. I wonder if we froze too. Well, it looks like family. Looks like we had some technical difficulties talking about Petronella, talking about Perry, Ceedee, Brittany Jones, and all of the awardees. So right now, hey, it looks like we lost Ruth. Hope you still got us loud and clear. But those are some of the nominees and awardees that are going to be presented to you Sunday, 7 p.m. CSRNToledo.com/Facebook is where you'll be watching the live stream. We're going to be streaming it from our lair, wherever the heck this is.
Bat cave number 2.
Right, from our bat cave number 2 that we're so graciously supported by members of the community that will allow us to be able to meet. Jody, you had talked earlier about 2020 and 2021, and one of the things that we like to do before we go ahead and wrap it up is to talk about some stress relievers. And we put together for our activists, we call it our activist protester stress indicator, or your PSI. We're having it's a lot of stress not being a protester. All right, it's a lot of stress if you're not an activist. However, if you're an activist, usually we're seeking out injustice, and injustice is a difficult thing to deal with. So for all of us, if you're a protester, if you're an activist, or if you're a concerned citizen that loves humanity, check in with yourself. Try to read yourself on your level of anxiety, on your level of depression because you watch the news day in, day out, or you scroll through your Facebook or your Google News. Check your anger to make sure that we're trying to keep our emotions, at a moderate or medium level. Check your fear. Just watching the news will have you afraid to walk outside, afraid to take a walk, afraid to go to the park. So get in tune with yourself. So you're asking, well, what can you do? Well, there's some basic um, grounding techniques that I use. I think that we've been doing this for 7 years. I've been a member of the Nation of Islam since 1991. So right off the bat, as a member of the Nation of Islam, when you join up and prove that you know what you receive an X. And after you receive your X, you'll be distributing the Final Call newspaper. This one is Stool Pigeon Sellouts and Ops. And if you saw recently the Judas and the Black Messiah, you might have seen how the federal government recruits snitches, informants, and instigators and agents and put them into Black organizations to disrupt, distract, and divide. So out the gate, 1991, my activism started. All right. So that means that everybody's not going to like what you're talking about, Jody.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to agree with you. So what are you going to do when everybody's not going to agree with you? Well, sometimes you can just take a short walk. Remember, it's not all about you. If you're an activist, if you're a protester, if you just love humanity, people are going to oppose you just because you're trying to speak truth to power. Move around. We just can't sit around all day online if you're a keyboard crusader or if you like us and we get it in the street. You still got to find some way to get some exercise in. Listen to your surroundings. Try to reground yourself. They have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. If you find this is going to be the last one today, you can just Google if you can grounded techniques. We're not trying to diagnose anyone, but that's my job as a mental health specialist. It's what I do, but I'm not trying to get anyone to lay on the couch, Jody. I'm not trying to prescribe meds to anyone because a lot of us just need to recenter.
Yep.
And it's almost as if you've ever drove with your Google map, sometimes you got to stop and let things recenter. All right, so that's what we're trying to do now. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is just to regain where you are. Say some things out loud to let you know that you are not your emotion. Yes, we have some difficult things that are happening in the community. Yes, we have some difficult things that are happening nationally, but we do want you to regain your peace, and you can regain your peace by finding a quiet space and try to find at least 7 things that you're grateful for. That should get you back in tune with yourself so that you don't have to be subjected to that type of stress. And some of the things that happen when we're really stressed out, we can burn out. We can have what's called compassion fatigue. That's when you feel that you just can't do enough. Well, Jody, nobody can do it all.
Right.
All right. You just do your part. Somebody else will come on and do the next part. Julian might come on and do the part after that. Ruth might come on and do the other part. So just do your small part. Allow others to come in and do what they do. All right, Jody. Hey, listen, I think the last thing I want to do before we close out.
Well, let's see. Ruth, are you still there? Were you able to come back? I did see from the messages that it might have just been our end. So sometimes, again, we're watching the screen. Everybody's watching the screen.
Right.
But I'm seeing for some of the messages that they did hear her.
Okay,
clear.
great.
So that message did get across, and I'm glad for that. I don't know. You want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Just in case we get Ruth
Absolutely.
back in the meantime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being an activist and being a part of protest culture and activist culture, art is involved in all we do. You can see by our signs, by our banner. You might have, there's a picture of Frederick Douglass. There's a picture of Justice or Else. All right. Art is a part of activism, and we have a beautiful brother. His name is Joe Dewey. On the during the May 30th uprising, CSRN led a rally for police transparency, and we thought there would be no better place to have this rally than right in front of the police station. And we invited the public out to hear what we had to say regarding police accountability. We told everyone after we're done, we're going to go home because next week we're going to have to strategize. Well, everybody weren't able to walk home peacefully. Everyone that came in flip-flops were met with wooden bullets.
Yep.
Everybody that came in shorts were engaged by people that had riot gear. Something is wrong with this picture, all right? And it even proved further why when we talk about defund the police, when we talk about refund Toledo, when we talk about abolish the police, disband the police, all of those types of things that we're saying to bring some level of accountability.
And before you show that, I do want to say too, one of the reasons we were down there is also for the naked chokehold. And that I don't believe that still has been resolved yet, but that is also one of the things we were trying to get them to ban. So officers, they don't put you in a chokehold. So,
yeah. All right. And speaking of that, Joe Dewey painted a picture. I'm gonna put this up. It's a picture of this brother being in what you call that naked chokehold. And as you see, it's a beautiful picture. I'm going to see if we can scan it. There's a Toledo police officer has his brother in a chokehold with the "I Can't Breathe" shirt on. This actually happened. Joe committed this to memory, and he painted this, and he gifted CSRN with this because he knew that we wouldn't back down by putting this on our page. Sure. He knew that we wouldn't back down and keep this picture secret and tucked away somewhere. This happened, and we still are waiting for police accountability to answer some questions of why this happened. I'm going to read a short letter from our brother Joe Dewey. He's a fellow organizer with us. He moved to Michigan, but he's still our Facebook friend. It says to Brother Washington, Ruth, Jody, and all CSRN. He says, please accept this as a sign of my respect and admiration for each of you and for the Black Lives Matter movement in Toledo. Although I've moved to Michigan, I will take with me the principles of activism and my commitment to the cause for the rest of my days. I painted this using an image I took at the George Floyd protest here in Toledo. The incident happened at the corner of Franklin and Bancroft, but I don't know the young man's name. All my best, Joe Dewey. This was painted January 2021. Yep. All right. And we thank you, Joe, for this. Jody, if we can, and before we go to 5 minutes of heat and anything that you wanted to add, I wanted to add one other thing. Earlier this week, a gentleman named Ray Wood, who was a New York City police officer, on his deathbed, made a confession and had it in writing so that after he dies, his family can show this letter regarding his involvement, the New York Police Department, and the FBI in the murder and assassination of our brother Malcolm X. Since I've been a part of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo, that's been one of the reoccurring things. Didn't y'all kill Malcolm? Well, as a Muslim member of the Nation of Islam, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we're admonished to have guns. And for the believers that were under the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they were admonished and prohibited of having guns. So you will be hard pressed to find a member of the Nation of Islam with a gun for any reason. We were instructed at that time to leave Malcolm alone, and all of us did. However, within all of our organizations, there's always, what did I have on this paper? There's always stool pigeons, sellouts, ops, and agents that are sent into our organizations to sift out some of the weak believers or weak members, to instigate, to cause us to do things that we later regret. And within all of our organizations, and even now, the COINTELPRO of J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, and the FBI is a part of the United States government. So J. Edgar Hoover is not separate from the United States government. They plotted to kill and assassinate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They even sent him letters telling him to kill himself. And they would send letters and recordings to his wife. These are the same people that destroyed Marcus Garvey's movement, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and using sellouts, stool pigeons, and ops, using our own brothers to infiltrate these organizations to drum up charges. And they had Marcus Garvey arrested on tax evasion and deported back to Jamaica. The same thing happened with the Black Panthers. Anytime that we organize to pull our people together and try to better our people, to make our community a safe and decent place to live, most times it's those agents that they send in our organizations. And then they will blame the organization of killing their own. Well, today, just with the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, when we learned about what happened to Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers, that still happens today. Nowadays, we catch that. In the Nation of Islam, now we recognize the language of division. When somebody comes in and wants people to do something that they're not to do, we call that out. Even at CSRN, we call that out regarding people coming in and trying to instigate us to do things that we know we shouldn't do. All right, so we've got our mission statement, we've got our guiding principles, and a lot of agencies and organizations have guiding principles and protect that. So this week it came out, and more, we're asking the FBI to open all the files on Malcolm X. We want to see who everybody that was involved in his assassination. And then you'll start to see other organizations that stool pigeons, sellouts, and ops and agents were used. So wanted to add that in, Jody.
Yep.
Look, it is after 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Can we take it to 5 minutes of heat?
We can. Just want to check, Ruth. Are you good back there? Okay.
I would say she's good.
So we're gonna do 5 minutes of heat. And what that is basically, instead of doing what Robert's rules, I think that's what it's called, and
whatever
the gavel, we end on artistic expression. And also to trail into the Marcus Garvey thing, if you still have a chance before the end of Black History Month, if you want to go down to One Government Center,
that's right,
in Toledo, Ohio. Shout out to Port Authority, the Lucas County Commissioners, NAACP, and all the other organizations that helped us raise the red, black, green flag, or the Pan-African flag, for the second time in the history of Toledo, after it turned its 100th year last year. So if you want to get a chance to photos, I know the weather is breaking.
Hey,
last week we had a little bit of storm. Prayers and blessings are with Texas and a lot of the South right now that are still dealing with the repercussions of their politicians and stuff like that, but we hope everything is getting better. So as I've done for the last rest of Black History Month. Most of my poetry isn't for kids, isn't all that stuff, but these pieces were specifically picked because they empower us. So we are going to end, since this is our last week of Black History Month, on something powerful. A word prompt I was given a few years back by a woman by the name of Sylvia Blaylock, who does online poetry, and there's like call logs. You can talk to New York, Florida, and Texas. She was in California herself, so shout out to Wolf Hours and everybody on the online poetry community. I do miss y'all. I'll be back. Zoom is taking some of my performability, but you know, stages are beginning to open back up, so I might have some fire coming soon. But this is called King's Cipher. So I thank her for inspiring me to create this piece. And let's begin. Peace. I was not raised by royalty, nor given servants to bow before me. I have no land to survey, or people that must obey every word that comes out of my mouth. I only have the blood in my veins, the breath in my lungs, the idea that I want to see better for everyone, and the bruised memories of how much my people have suffered under thumb. I am royalty without a crown. My skin glows with no jewels around, tinted by the kiss of the sun and the moon's tempering gaze, strengthened by all the pain my ancestors faced, and forged and fused out of the Creator's grace. Protecting and preserving the future is my ultimate goal. I will battle all enemies that wish harm to the family stronghold, where leaders are built and trained to become kings and queens, great minds, scholars, protectors, and off to find truth by any means. My crown should never shift or sway towards things that will hinder my people's dreams or keep them blind to corruptive ways. I take no days off, stand strong with a listening heart, and lead when there's need for my people to succeed. That is what it means to be a king for me. In peace.
Thank you, Jody. And we snap our fingers. We don't clap our hands. Where are my housekeeping? I had a couple things, Jody. Excuse me for leaving. There, I'm back. I had a couple of housekeeping things that I wanted to make sure I mentioned.
Yep. And I don't know. I'm going to check in again. Ruth, are you there? Are you going to be gracing us with our pledge?
Well, if not, I'll go ahead and start with the pledge. But I had some really important things, Jody, that I was going to. Here we go. All right. Before we end, if you want to support CSRN, you can find us on PayPal, CSRN 419. Just put that in PayPal. You should be directed to be able to assist us. If you want to utilize Cash App, you can use the cash tag CSRN 419. We thank you for your support. Even put your support in your Google Calendar so that you know every other month or every month, just donate $3, $2, or whatever you can spare that doesn't cause you any harm. Our entire Black Lives Matter awards come together because of your support. And it wouldn't happen without you, and we thank you so much. In closing, I wanted to remind everybody regarding Ban the Cam. We're assisting Sean Nestor and Brady Hall and others in banning the red light cameras. We know, and you know that's a money grab. And right now we're putting together all the facts of how many accidents have happened before the cameras and how many accidents have happened after the cameras. Right now, with the information that we're getting, there is no difference.
Except all right? The pockets they get to
except their pockets. And for everyone, keep promoting Black History Month. regardless, 365, regardless what anybody says that it's the shortest month. Well, do it the whole month, all right, and beyond. And once again, thanks, Abby, for our CSRN Black Lives Matter Award graphics. And hey, I think Ruth is back here.
Yeah.
All right.
Go let that out.
All right. Ruth is back. Ruth, I think that we covered everything. If there's anything else you want to say, and close it out with the pledge.
Alrighty. Hold on.
Okay, all right. While she's going, please keep the family of Alicia Smith in your prayers.
Yes.
She's fighting a good fight, and we're fighting right alongside her.
Alrighty, at the end of every meeting, we close out with our solidarity pledge. That is our pledge not only to ourselves, but to each other to continue to fight the good fight until we meet again. Please repeat after me. Everyone say, I.
I.
Your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To study to improve myself.
Spiritually. Mentally. Morally. And physically. For the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family. And my people. I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Spoken truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
And
energy. To achieve. The above said.
And
give yourself a round of applause.
Give yourself a hand. All right.
Oh man. Alrighty, guys. That's it.
And as always, all lives can't matter, Ruth, until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else.
See y'all next week.
Peace.